To say that Shin Megami Tensei 5 Vengeance has had a profound impact on my channel would be an understatement. My guides on Agrat and the best demons did incredibly well, and I've had a ton of fun running through Godborn at level 99. So before Persona 3 Reload's DLC comes out, I wanted to put out one more guide to cap off my voice coverage of this game, and to that end, I wanted to return to my roots. Talking about the Qadistu. The Qadistu have quickly become fan-favorite demons in terms of their designs, gameplay, and story. Agrat has one of the most ridiculous unique skills and traits in the game, Lilith's new design is particularly memorable, and Nama is a constant and entertaining presence in the story, as well as having a great personality. And then there's Eisheth, who... The problem with Eisheth is that she doesn't have the it factor that made the others memorable. Eisheth is completely overshadowed by Agrat upon her second defeat, and in terms of gameplay, her skill set is nothing to write home about. However, I am not one to back down from a challenge, so today, I wanted to find a way to make Eisheth broken. So with that said, let's get into it. Just like the other Qadistu, Eisheth is a special fusion who requires 3 demons: Mithra, Fornius, and... Fornius can be found in North Shinagawa by the Fairy Village, but Mithra and Loki need to be fused in the World of Shadows. And it's here where a big issue with Eisheth lies. All of these demons specialize in magic, with Loki specifically only learning magic skills besides High Restore. Eisheth, meanwhile, is a pure physical attacker, with the only useful skills she can get off these guys being High Restore from Loki, and maybe Fogna or Mana Spring from Fornius. But fortunately, this is counterbalanced by Eisheth having a lot of great Fizz build options right out of the gate. Eisheth comes with Murderous Glee, and learns Fizz Pleroma and Critical Zealot through level up. This gives her a 40% damage boost on critical hit, and more than doubles her crit rate. Already, that's pretty good. But we can take this further through Essence Fusion. The first 3 skills we're going to add to her are Enduring Soul, Resist Physical, and Resist Force. Enduring Soul is something you should realistically have on all your demons, as it gives them an extra life. It can be found as early as Hayataro, and be farmed off Agami Type 0 and Taito. Resist Physical is another passive I choose to give to as many demons as possible, as it prevents critical hits outside of a Mokutoki critical. It can be found on Cerberus, Glaciolabolus, Kusanushi, and Konsu, as well as being farmable off Agami Type D and Taito. Resist Force, meanwhile, is here to patch up her one weakness, and can be gotten off Poltergeist, Caravanaba, Quetzalcoatl, and Hayataro. Then we add Bloody Glee, which can be purchased from Cadaver's Hollow off Dacne's Essence, and it raises her crit rate by a further 80%. Stacked additively with Murderous Glee, and Eisheth now has a 3.3 modifier to crit rate. Next is High Fizz Pleroma, which multiplies physical damage by an additional 35%, and is found on Asura, Chiyu, and Dagda. We're actually going to swap normal Fizz Pleroma out for this because we're short on skill slots, so the total damage multiplier after Zealot is 57%. Finally, we need an actual physical skill that can be multiplied by all this math, and Eisheth comes with 4 at her disposal. Her unique skill Voracious Salvation, along with Mist Rush, Titanomakia, and Nihil Claw. When a target has an ailment, her unique skill is actually tied with Guest Demi-Fiend's Gaia Rage as the second most powerful non-Magatsuki skill in the game at base power 450. However, it does not have an increased chance to crit. In fact, the only skill here that does is Titanomakia, but it's all target, meaning it's inherently weaker. So we need to supplement with something that will output high damage and have a boosted crit rate. And the best skill for the job is the Siegfried special, Brave Blade Gaming. Brave Blade is base power 220 and has an independent 30% crit modifier, which is the highest in the game that isn't a 200% skill like Acrobat Kick. So when put together, Brave Blade has a base power of 363 and a crit rate of 33%, assuming the base value is 1. For a rough breakdown on the crit formula, check out my Agrat video. Also, before moving on, I want to quickly address something. Yes, you can use Figment Slash and swap the Glee skills for Beast and Dragon Eye. However, unlike other popular Figment Slash users like Aryok and Gogmagog, Eisheth doesn't do anything to increase its damage further. Plus, in my opinion, Brave Blade is just more fun. Now here's where things get interesting. Traits. Eisheth's trait, Qadistu Savagery, doubles the crit rate for her and the other Qadistu. So now that 33% becomes 66%. But we can also take this even further with two other characters' traits, one of which we'll get to later, but for now let's talk about Best Doggo, Glacia Labolis. Glacia's trait, Divine Fortune, raises the party's accuracy and crit rate by an additional 50% as long as Glacia himself is at +2 Sukukaja, making the formula look like 33 times 2 times 1.5 to give us a 99% crit rate, which results in Eisheth having a near guaranteed crit rate. But I skipped a few steps, didn't I? So let's see how this all works with a practical example. Here we have an Eisheth who I leveled up to 150 in Godborn, with stats that I feel are fairly balanced, for Godborn at least. An attack stat of 483 and a luck stat of 395. Now let's pit her against a worthy opponent, Beelzebub. The Lord of Funk has one of the highest luck stats in Godborn of a normal story boss at 362. When plugged into the crit formula, we see that Eisheth has a whopping 103% to crit Beelzebub by herself, and a 154% chance when Glacia Labolis is on the field. So in other words, she will always crit under these conditions. But I also understand that she has a higher luck stat in this circumstance, so let's test the build on the highest luck enemy I could find. The bane of my existence, Samael. This shitstain has a whopping 408 luck, the highest I could find that wasn't going into Super Boss or Virtual Trainer territory. Running the math, we see that the number goes down to only a 98% chance and a 140% chance with Glacia. And while a 5% drop doesn't seem too big, what makes it scary is that she no longer has that guaranteed chance to crit by herself. But we can actually salvage this with one more addition. Deathly Affliction. Deathly Affliction provides the same 50% increase that Glacia does, however, it applies when a target has an ailment. I know inflicting the ailment snake with an ailment sounds insane, but it's easier than you think with the Magasui skill Accursed Poison, courtesy of Zen, who also has Deathly Affliction. Adding another 50% on top of Glacia and Eisheth's numbers gives a whopping 221% chance to crit, higher than the already guaranteed crit skills. Take that, you stupid snake. And with this, I hope I was able to give the Eisheth fans some love, and if you like what you saw here, consider liking, commenting, and subscribing to help build a community, and until next time, this is Japanator, signing off.